What's up, everybody? It's your boy Duty back again with another video. This time I am doing a video on our boy DSP's podcast, where he just gave a chipper, awesome Labor Day shout out. Apparently our boy hates this country, hates working, and definitely believes that a 9 to 5 is for suckers. So let's get into the video.
You'll see what I mean in a few minutes, all right? But anyway, happy Monday, everyone. Today is Monday the 5th of September 2022, which in the United States, today is a national holiday that we call Labor Day.
I know he hates Labor Day simply because he hates the word labor, and you know our boy Phil's never done an ounce of labor in his life.
What is Labor Day? It's a day when supposedly we Americans sit back and reminisce and kind of respect the American workforce. The hard workers that they are, how they bust their butts for a wage. And it's kind of funny because, you know, at one point, it was all about what we call the American dream. And what that means is people would...
No, you idiot. Labor Day was actually instituted as part of recognition or recognizing labor unions in this country. So essentially, once the labor movement grew in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, and even the 60s, they had requested a type of holiday to celebrate all the laborers in the world. So this has nothing to do with anything you just have to say right now. This essentially was something that was started to recognize labor unions, and now has kind of morphed into a let's do a big send off of the summer, and also we'll allow people to go and shop and give them deep discounts. That's essentially what it is now. But still, most Americans that love this country will do something and remember, you know, kind of remember this country and think about all the good things that this country has provided to them and their families. Unlike you, Phil.
Would literally say, oh, it's my dream that one day I can grow up and I can do whatever I want with my life. I can have a job however I want. I could be whoever I want, and I can make a living doing it. I can have a family. I can have a house with a white picket fence and, you know, 2 kids, send them to school, have safety and all this. And that was the American dream, to live in America and have that kind of a lifestyle where you could have a job that was a career that would support all of that, okay? But sadly, for those of us who are realists and honestly cynics, what we've seen in the last 20 years is America changed dramatically from a place where you could have that kind of a career and a dream and an aspiration to a place where sky-high rent, sky-high cost of living, inflation out the ass. Just to make ends meet, you have to hold down 2-3 jobs, because most jobs won't even give you full-time hours so you can qualify for the healthcare plan that they're supposed to provide if you're a full-time worker. So you're going from place to place to place, flipping burgers, checking people out at a retail store, you know what I mean, working in a factory, packing boxes and delivering them for Amazon, door dashing around trying to deliver food, just to have enough money to pay your bills. That's the modern American dream. So it's kind of funny that we have this...
No, it isn't, and that's a slap in the face to the wealth of this country and how many people are actually in the middle class, upper middle class, and the higher middle class and the rich. This is a country that has made more millionaires and more billionaires and more high upper middle class citizens than any other country in the world. Okay, Phil? So yes, there are people that are struggling. That is true. That is definitely true. But if you look at our system of governance and you look at our system of wealth creation, it's the engine that can't be stopped. Now, we have some other forces like inflation and government spending that's killing it, but still our country and our economic system is still strong enough to kind of overcome those obstacles. So it annoys me when you come off like a dunderhead. You know, this is a man here that essentially his job is he streams games and he begs for money, and he's complaining about a country and a system that allows him to do that. What other country in the world will allow someone like Phil to actually be successful?
Labor Day that's supposed to be like a celebration of American laborers and how great it is to be in America and to have this career. How many people actually have a career?
Had nothing to do with anything about a career. This isn't the 40s and the 50s where you got one job and you stayed there till you retired. The economic situation in this world has changed dramatically, and no system in the world works that way. Look at Europe, where they're still struggling year after year, decade after decade, where they have stagflation over there and stagnation because the people of Europe refuse, their citizens refuse to change. They essentially want to have what you want, that, you know, you go work for a company and you stay there for 30 years and then you retire, right? You know, Europe is the only country that mandates a month of vacation for every citizen, regardless of your job, and so many holidays and paid whatchamacallits. Okay, so, you know, look at Europe, and if you want that model for this country, I'm gonna say no, thank you.
The question, in my opinion. And what's funny is we keep getting reports out of our mainstream media. And again, I want to emphasize something. I'm not a political guy. I'm not conservative. I am not, progressive. I'm not on either side of the left or right. I try to stay out of the argument. But what I do is I try to stay in the middle.
That's a lie. You take whatever side of the argument that benefits your pocket. That's essentially what you do.
And I try to tell you guys what I see as a objective observer of the things around me. Alright? Here's what I see from the mainstream media. Alright? Oh, record job creation. Record numbers of new jobs and opportunities for Americans out there, so get out there and work. And then you look, you're like, where are these job opportunities? And I can tell you firsthand from looking online, from the postings and things, here's what they are. Retail clothing store, fast food restaurant, Amazon factory packer. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are not career jobs. These are literally what would be considered disposable jobs. And what that means is you are disposable. You'll get hired by these jobs to work 10, 15 hours a week if you're lucky. You'll work.
That's not true. The average person works 35 hours a week. That is the average. You can go and look that statistic up. It's 35 hours a week, Phil.
The job, barely learn anything, flub your way through it because there's no training, there's no actual management. It's just go out there and just do work with absolutely no knowledge of anything. Just do it, okay? And then at any time where you feel like, oh, you know, maybe I'll get progress or whatever. Oh, we don't need you anymore. Goodbye. You're disposable. You're a disposable worker. This just happened recently with COVID. During COVID, in the last 2 years, Amazon dramatically increased its workforce. Why? Because the retail stores were either closed or no one was going to them because of COVID, so everyone was ordering online. People worked at Amazon for 2 years thinking, wow, this is awesome. This is going to be a career job now. I can do this for the rest of my life. They just laid off a ton of their workforce. They don't care. Oh, we don't need you anymore because COVID's over. Everyone's going back to stores. Fuck off.
Right there, Phil. If you can actually, use the analytical part of your brain, your statement right there should tell you why. COVID happened. There was a bigger increase in online sales. Amazon needed more workers. They hired those workers. They paid them well. They averaged between $16 and $20 an hour. Most of them work 40 hours a week. COVID finished. A lot of people started going back to the stores. Demand for online sales dropped. Why is Amazon going to continue to pay and employ these people they don't need or really can't afford or just don't need them? That's every company. Every single company is that way. Now, if you look, there are other segments, like, for example, in the healthcare field, the insurance field, jobs you would classify as white collar. There's a huge deficit of employees there, of jobs that need to be filled that no one can fill them. And there's actually huge competition right there in those sectors for qualified people. And most companies, you have your Independence Blue Cross, your CVS, your Aetna's, your United Healthcare, these huge companies that are white collar jobs that pay people very well. They're fighting amongst each other to try to get these pool of employees that are available. And what's happening is they're getting paid more, they're getting better bonuses, they're getting better benefits, and yeah. So you can't look at it. You're looking at the situation very myopically, very small. And I'm assuming the rant you're going on is because your wife works retail, and you hate that she works retail, and you're upset that she can't make a career out of it, or she doesn't get the right benefits, or whatever the hell your gripe is. But yeah, this whole business about you being in the middle, no, you take the side that benefits your pocket.
Now what do? Oh well.
There's tons of jobs opening. You go find another job. You find another job that will probably even pay you more.
Years of your life wasted. And that's what...
It's not wasted. That money get into your bank account, you paid your bills, you hopefully had some savings, and now you just move on to another company.
What it's like here in the United States. I hate to say it. I've had that experience. I busted my ass for a giant corporation. I did work for 2 years outside of the scope of what I was getting paid for. I was called a customer service representative. I was doing the work of someone called a continuous improvement specialist who should be getting paid double what I was getting paid. I did that in the promise that I was going to get promoted and eventually be able to do that for my full-time job. When I was done with a project that lasted a year, they laid me off.
You're the idiot. You should have gotten some in writing. You should have actually got the promotion before you decided to take on that extra work. That's your fault.
That's America.
That is not America. Trust me, that is not America. Dunderheads like yourself, who don't get something in writing or don't come to an agreement before taking on more work like that, you're the idiots that, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't that. I'm pretty sure your job duties changed up a little bit and you got a little bit more work, something a little different than just being a customer service rep. And once whatever the project finished, you weren't really doing anything in depth. But once the project finished, I believe your story, the company had dropped in sales. There was a whole, there was a big thing where the company was going insolvent, and they laid you off. That's how business works.
I hate to say that I'm being cynical about it, because I definitely am, But
it's another reason. How many times have people told Phil, why don't you hire an editor to edit your content, to make it look nicer, to make it look professional? What does he say? I can't. I don't have the money. His business doesn't generate enough money to hire an editor. So should we call Phil greedy and a terrible American business because he won't employ other people? No, he can't afford it.
But that's my experience, and that's the experience I'm still seeing all around me. So when the mainstream media reports things like, oh, record high jobs available, like, yeah, what are the fucking jobs? These aren't jobs that you want or can keep. These are jobs that you work a few hours a week and you have to juggle 5 of them to make a living. None of them are living wage jobs. None of them provide health care. This is a joke.
That's not true. You can go work at Target right now between making $16 and $20. They give you tuition reimbursement if you go to college. They give you full health benefits for you and your family. Don't know what he's talking about.
Misrepresentation by our media to try to make us feel like our country is so great. All right. So from those,
our country isn't perfect, but it's the best country in the world.
You who don't live in the United States, and you hear all these great things about America. Oh, the American dream is alive and well. You should come to America. It's the best place to be. Don't believe everything you hear. I'm not saying that America is all bad, because it's not. There's a lot of positive and great things about America. I'm able to do this for a living because I live here. Okay? And I realize that. There's not a lot of places on Earth where I'd be able to sit around in an office broadcasting myself to the internet and make a living doing it. A lot of other places would force you to do other shit. Alright?
In the last 15 seconds, he essentially just disintegrated his whole 5-minute rant that he just previously did just by stating that. And the dunderhead is too slow to realize that.
Me, I'm lucky enough to have a living that I can do this, okay? A lot of the reasons because of where I live and the freedoms that I have that are protected. And I appreciate that.
What was that? Freedoms that you have, freedoms that are protected. Sounds like a good deal there, Phil.
But at the very same time, I don't appreciate misrepresentation, which is what we get from our media. So when I hear, oh, it's Labor Day, everyone, celebrate the American workforce, I say, yeah, celebrate how bad it's gotten, celebrate how you're just a cog in a machine that could easily be replaced by a shinier, cheaper cog, and no one gives 2 fucks about you. because it's very hard to find a career job where you're valued these days. In most jobs now in America, you are a number on a spreadsheet. You're an asset to be treated, traded, and tossed whenever you're not needed. They'll just dispose of you.
All right, sounds like Kat may have lost her job again. So that's why Phil's ranting here. It sounds like something very close and personal happened to him.
And if you disagree, I want you to understand something. You have the right to disagree, and you're lucky that you can. You're absolutely lucky that either you or your family is in a life situation where you can disagree, because not everyone is as lucky to be in a situation like you, where you feel like, oh, I'm protected, I have a career that's nice and everything's good. That is a false sense of security Americans seem to have. They think that everything is foolproof and everything is protected. If anything, COVID showed us the opposite in the last 2 years, that at any moment, everything around us can fall apart and all those walls of safety that we built up around us can come tumbling down.
That's with anything and anywhere and any place, Phil. It doesn't matter. Now, what you can do is you can take steps to protect yourself by saving money for a rainy day. Everyone should have at least 3 to 6 months of savings on the side just in case they lose their job. 401k, you should be investing at least 5 to 10% of your income in a 401k. That 401k, if you lose your job, is available for you to cash out. Now you'll have to you'll get a tax penalty and stuff for it, but you can still cash it out and have that money. So these are the type of things, Phil, that you can do to protect yourself when those things happen. Like you don't do any of that. That's why so much of the crap that befalls you is gloom and doom, and oh my God, you don't know what you're gonna do because you don't take those steps to protect yourself in the eventuality that something like that would happen. So that's your fault, Phil. And just a bit of advice to everybody: yeah, if you think that an employer or someone's gonna protect you, or this country's gonna protect you, you got a rude awakening coming to you, and that's any country. I mean, in the United States, actually, you're afforded more rights than anywhere else. It's very hard to actually release someone from employment, other than a mass layoff because of financial issues with the business. So Phil, I suggest you be quiet, you stay in your lane, you play your video games, and you thank the Lord every day that you can beg on stream and make $130,000 a year doing it. Peace out.